Hi, and thanks so much for joining us today. I am here with Adrienne Moscheo, and she's a professional organizer. If you've been struggling with stuff that you've inherited from mom or dad or grandma, or maybe it's your child that's moved away from home, or maybe even a child that's passed on, how do we deal with those things that are tied up in our homes and they become a part of our lives because they're part of our emotions? So please help me welcome Adrienne Moscheo. How are you today?
Thank you so much, Angela. I'm great. I'm so honored to be here.
Can we talk about all the stuff for a minute? Everybody has paperwork, everybody has websites, everybody has logins and passwords and things
Mhm.
that need to be documented somewhere so that in the event that something does happen, your relatives or your next of kin are not left stranded. Hiring a team to sort through that stuff or break into a computer as it is and try to unlock passwords and hidden things because they don't know how to log in. Can you speak to some of the steps that people right now can take right now to ease that process for their relatives so that there isn't a bunch of heartbreak and wondering, was there an insurance policy and where's the information and which company
Yes.
is it with and all those things?
Yes, absolutely. One of the first steps is just start. Start with something that feels doable. A lot of people look at preparing for death as this I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to go there, but it is one of the kindest, most loving things that you can do for the people that will be left, that will be alive to take care and really honor everything that was your life. I think about it often when we accumulate and bring new things into our home. A lot of times people don't understand the value or the purpose of something that means a lot to us. So I'm going to give two suggestions. One is if there is something that is extremely sentimental that you know you want your daughter to have, or you know that you want your son to have, or you know your sister loved this sweater that you always want and you want to make sure that she has it when you're gone, write a little note card. If it's a piece of furniture or something, put a post-it note under it, and in your will say, everyone gets this piece. Look underneath the chair and you'll see your name and who gets it. There's really creative ways to almost I know it said that's why my website is blythe.fun, but it's making organization fun. It can be so daunting and challenging to see everything as a whole. But if you can just start and you're walking into your living room and you look at that beautiful frame that you know, oh, I know that my niece would love that frame because she's really into gold or this or that. Just write it down and start making it a habit as you're walking around your house to just take note. The other story I'll tell is I have a dear friend here in Nashville that we enjoy going to pawn shops and finding really beautiful pieces of gold or diamonds or things. And she has four boys. So she always thinks about, I have all these beautiful rings, and yet my boys probably won't really care about these unless they have fiance someday that they want to give this to. But what she realized is she has pieces that were her mother's. She has pieces that were her grandmother's. And when she's gotten something at the pawn shop versus these pieces that are so sentimental and special to their heritage, like these stories that these boys in high school are not going to really remember if mom shares that story right now. So she and I talked about her having, whether it's a Ziploc bag or a little note card or a description or taking a photo so that it is logged each ring or piece that she notes. This is a pawn shop ring, it has no sentimental value. If y'all want to sell it, melt it down, go for it. But the others have the story behind it. And that story is something when people pass away, it is most always, and I say that because not to be depressing, but a lot of stories are lost. There's
Mhm.
so many stories I wish I'd asked my grandmother and my great aunt about that I vaguely remember them talking about this and maybe in the photo album, and I'm trying to piece together all these stories that I don't know because I didn't ask them or it just wasn't in a place in life to really care or understand, which is so unfortunate. But that's the gap between age sometimes is once you get to the age and they're gone, that story's lost. And so
Mhm.
writing it down, whether it's keeping a journal, having a really good will, just some sort of habit that you have that while you are alive, you're able to love people in that way. And then also I had a great Aunt B, and she had really great quotes, and she used to always say to me, "Adrienne, the Wells Fargo wagon isn't gonna be trailing behind my hearse." And it was basically saying she's not taking any of this with her. And so she was one of the most generous humans I knew, and generous in things like a beautiful ring that I cherish and love with all my heart, that I know the story behind it because she gave it to me when she was alive. So just being able to let go of things now versus waiting until you're gone.
And I think that's a really important element that a lot of us overlook. When we start thinking about what can I get rid of and what can I sort through, I think some of the most important things that we need to really consider is what do I have to give while I'm here on the earth? And can I give
Yes,
that while I'm here on the earth? And I
yes.
know one of the things that really hit me this last year was I have a dad who is just an amazing human. He's been a mentor to me as long as I've been alive and incredibly wise. He was always very
Mm,
quiet and never spoke much. But when he did speak, you wanted to take notes about everything that he said.
mhm,
And I thought to myself how sad it would be should he leave the earth and us not capture that. Because, like you said,
mhm,
once it's gone and that person
mhm.
has left our life, a lot of those stories, they don't transcend the generations. They just kind of stop with the generation that's left behind. And then those stories drift away. And I said, what would it take for us to be able to capture those ideas and wisdom while he's alive right now? And believe it
Yes.
or not, I talked him into doing it with me. And he's like, "Oh,
Yes,
no, 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 I don't want to do a podcast." And I said, "It's not for you. It's for all the
it's
kids and all
for
the
all
grandkids." And
yeah,
he's like, "Oh, well, I could do it for them." And he wouldn't do it for
yeah,
himself, but he
yeah,
said he would do it for the kids and the grandkids. So
yeah.
every Saturday morning we meet for 1 hour and
Oh, yeah,
he put all of his ideas together in a book and we helped him publish the book. But the book we go through and there's one topic. And if you were like the best parent on earth or the best leader,
yeah.
you would have these certain leadership skills. And now
Wow.
I'm one of 19 kids, and many people would love to know how do you raise 19 kids, right?
Wow.
So I get to ask him these questions from an insider's perspective, like, hey, check this out. How did you do this? Like, how did
Yeah.
you express common sense through all these kids at different multiple ages as you're raising them? And so his insights are fascinating, but we're
Mhm.
actually putting this on tape. When he leaves the earth, he's not going to leave behind a lot of wealth, but what he
Yeah.
will leave behind are these cherished memories and
Yes,
words of
yes,
wisdom that then will transcend time and space. And so
absolutely.
I started for myself saying, okay, all the stuff can go
Mhm,
away. Cause like your aunt said, you don't take it with you when you
mhm,
go, but what
mhm,
difference can I make today? And I love that you brought this up. And I want
mhm,
to encourage each one of our audience members today to
mhm,
stop and think for a second. What is your value here
mhm,
on this planet? And what are you doing to capture that so that you can share it before you leave?
mhm.
Because if you've left, all that the goodness that you brought to the earth is then now just a memory.
Yeah,
And instead of us getting caught up in our stuff, what is our purpose and can we leave that behind and let it leave a mark so that we've really blessed the lives of other people?
yes.
I'm really glad you brought that up. I just love this. This is so
Yeah,
good.
and that is beautiful. I love that you had the insight of what your dad was gifting to you on such almost an emotional level of heart space with him that you were able to say, "I want this." And I think we don't think in that way because we think those people are gonna be with us for a long time. And for me, I'm 40 years old and my mom passed away at 55. And I thought my mom would be around much longer than what we had her on this earth for. And so I think being able to have that insight of, hey, I know you don't wanna do this, but this is not just about you. This is about grandkids and all these people that now you will be able to, for lifetimes after your life, live on in a way that is so much more that connection is so much deeper. So I love that.
So I want to thank you for being with us today.
Oh, thank you so much.